Hello and welcome back to the channel. So some of you may know I am an actor. I'm majoring in theater arts at Loyola Marymount University, and I am a big fan of plays and musicals. As you can see, I have some posters for some musicals I had the pleasure of seeing on my first and only trip to New York a couple of years ago. So of course I was very excited when Disney announced that they would be releasing a recorded version of Hamilton with the original cast in theaters in October of 2021. Now, of course, as they shifted their schedule around and maybe needed some original programming to arrive on Disney Plus this year, Hamilton ended up on Disney Plus for the 4th of July, and I had the pleasure of watching it yesterday. So before this, I actually had listened to all the songs. I actually listened to and analyzed them for English class in high school. But I had never seen it. I was actually going to see it before coronavirus struck this year. But, of course, regardless, I was super excited to get to see the original cast, Lin-Manuel Miranda, who, fun fact, I actually saw in Disneyland one time. So 5 years later, this musical came out in 2015. 5 years later, all the hype. I was a theater kid in high school and, still am in college. Everyone around me knows all the words and the hype is unreal. So what did I think watching this for the first time? It's fantastic. It lives up to the hype. What can I say? Not many things do, but this absolutely does. Like I said, I've listened to all the songs, and I don't think I fully appreciated the genius of what was there. Watching it really was a different experience from listening to the songs, especially when I listened to the whole thing in my high school English classroom, and I have listened to the whole thing plenty of times, being a theater kid with other theater kids, blasting the music on repeat and knowing all of the words. But there's a reason this was such a cultural phenomenon, such a moment in time, which I am thrilled got preserved on film and is now out there for people to see, whether you are a theater fan or just someone who is curious, because this performance, this recorded version of the performance was actually 3 nights of the performance that were filmed and cut together, I imagine, to get the best takes and the best parts. It's a beautiful show. The historical aspects are really interesting, and one of the biggest things we talk about, me being a theater major, is getting your play or your musical to move people to want to learn more about something or move them to action in some way. And this musical certainly moved me to want to learn more about the nation's founding and the nation's history, as it revealed to me how little I actually know. And I found so much of this musical to be really informative and interesting. I loved all of the moments of these political debates in the form of a rap battle. It's not a gimmick. It fits so perfectly. It's telling our nation's history through the lens of this moment in history. It's brilliant. I know that everything that can be said about this has already been said, but it is fantastic. Lin-Manuel Miranda deserves every bit of credit he's gotten. He's a genius. He's a genius. He gets a lot of hate for his singing. And he's not a traditionally great singer, but I thought he was great in this show. I don't know many of the other actors' names, so forgive me, but the actor who played Aaron Burr was fantastic. I believe Leslie Odom Jr., and he beat Lin-Manuel Miranda for the Tony for this musical, which I think is funny, but deserved, because he's fantastic. Everyone in this is fantastic. I can't list all the actors and say how great they are, because they are all really good. And even some of the songs that, as I just listened to the soundtrack, I didn't really think I liked. Not one of them feels out of place in this show. I don't really have a critique. It blew me away. It did. And I didn't expect it to, because it's so hard for things that are this hyped up to live up to that hype. Another thing I love about this show is that it is inspirational. It's patriotic in what I think the true sense of that is. This country sucks. It sucks. But the idea of this country is fantastic. And so what I loved about this musical is they describe America as an unfinished symphony, which is perfect. There is a promise of this nation that has not been realized, and I think that is represented so well in this musical. It makes you feel hopeful for what this country can be because of the ideas that founded it that haven't yet been realized, that can be. And all of that in a really emotionally affecting, brilliantly written, every word chosen so deliberately. And I love, it's actually rather minimal in terms of production. I love the spinning stage with the one circle inside of another circle where they can be spinning in opposite directions. The middle one can stay still and give the illusion of people spinning around the person in the center. Using dancers to simulate battles instead of using these elaborate set pieces. You know, me as a theater person, that's stuff I'm paying attention to, obviously. Using the same actors to play different roles and that having thematic relevance. Guys, you gotta check this out. Even if you don't think you're a musical theater person, or if you think it's not gonna live up to the hype, I really do encourage checking this out. If for no other reason than that this is a moment in our culture that has been preserved on film and is now out there for you to watch for $5.99 a month. I am super happy that Disney got to distribute this recording. It's a special thing. I really hope more musicals get to do it, because hopefully this is a success for Disney and for the people involved. And more studios see this as something they can do, is pick up a recording of a musical and drop it on their streaming service, because these things are already recorded. They record these things, you know? That's the other thing. I was really impressed with the quality of the recording. The audio is, like, fantastic, because I've watched recordings of plays before, mostly unprofessional, mostly the plays that I've been in, and they have this variety of camera angles. They have like a downward facing shot for like an aerial view of the stage. They have a shot that I actually think they only used once, that is from behind the actor so that the camera is facing the audience. They kept in using the, you know, choosing which microphones to use for the audio, were able to use audience reactions when they wanted to and keep them out when they didn't. The personal drama of Alexander's life is just as interesting as the political stuff. I loved both of those things, and I loved how they tied together. You gotta check it out. It's certainly gonna move me to do more research and learn more about all this stuff. I'm so curious now, you know? It's a great show. It's a great show. I don't know what to say. It really is, and I did not, that's the thing, I did not expect to like it this much, because I was never a Hamilton fan. Everyone else in my high school theater and, you know, just theater kids, you know, they're obsessed with this thing, and I never was. I've listened to it a couple of times, and I never cared that much, but it is great. So go check it out if you're even a little bit curious. And that's a 5 out of 5 for me. So thanks for tuning in to this episode of Jake Reviews, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Goodbye.